So I'm like a day or two late on this video, but it's okay, I still want to talk about this. Russell Westbrook has decided that he doesn't want to play in Houston anymore, and it's because he wants the floor general role again like he has in OKC. Basically, he wants his 25 shot attempts a game, and not shooting 46 times in an elimination game probably irked him, I guess. So despite the fact that the reason he wants out is dumb and pretty telling for him as a player, we have to talk about where he can go. I'll say before anything else, this is totally a Knicks move. Everything about it seems like a Knicks move. Russell Westbrook wants to take 40 shots a game, and the Knicks have like 2 real NBA players, so there's plenty of shots to go around. The only hole in the deal would be that the Knicks were concerned about giving up too much for Chris Paul, so maybe they don't want to give up a bunch to the Rockets for Westbrook. But what does a trade package from the Knicks even look like? I mean, there's Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Frank Ntilikina, and Kevin Knox. I guess the salary there, but are any of these guys really assets? I know Knicks fans probably feel better about these guys than most, but outside of that 1 year on the Pelicans, Randle hasn't really been good. Ntilikina and Knox have been disappointments as NBA players, and Bobby Portis is kind of whatever. None of these guys are really assets for me, especially not in a trade for a star player. I mean, the Knicks have the one Clippers pick, those Mavs picks, and that's not too great. But honestly, if you're Houston, do you really have any other choice than to accept a mediocre offer from the Knicks? I don't really see anyone offering anything better. And one thing that could be concerning for the Knicks is that if you do trade for Russell Westbrook, it might stunt the growth of RJ Barrett, because what you want to do is surround RJ Barrett with shooters and all that kind of stuff, right? But Russell Westbrook is a non-shooter. Apparently, he's one of the worst shooters ever. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. I don't remember where, but it probably could stunt his growth, and that's a concern. But the Knicks might not trade for him. There's a couple other teams interested, one of them being the Hornets. The Hornets are kind of interesting, I guess, and while this trade is certainly possible, I don't think it's a good idea at all for them. I mean, sure, they need a point guard. Devontae Graham is nice, and Terry Rozier, they're nice, but I don't think they're going to be your starting point guard for a really good team. And sure, they do have a decent roster that they would have around Westbrook, but they'll win like 40 games for the next couple years, and then he'll leave, and they'll be in the same position. But what could they trade for Westbrook to doom their future? You've got the Nicholas Batum contract, Cody Zeller, maybe Rozier instead of Batum. Then you probably got Miles Bridges and Malik Monk. I mean, maybe they'd give a first rounder. If you're Houston, that's honestly a pretty good return if I'm being honest. They've already said they aren't committing to small ball, so there's a decent big in Zeller. You've got a replacement point guard in Rozier, and a solid player in Bridges and whatever kind of guy Malik Monk is. Maybe they revive his career kind of like how they did Ben McLemore. Now that I think about it, actually, those guys are kind of redundant, but whatever. We'll ignore that for now. I mean, it's the Rockets shooters. I don't know. That's a really solid return, and considering how many teams already have their point guard, I honestly think this is pretty good for Houston. Like I said, I don't like it at all for Charlotte, but if they want to do it, power to them. I mean, there's guys like Cade Cunningham coming up in the 2021 draft, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know anybody in the future drafts, but there's point guards out there, star point guards that you can get if you're just bad because you don't trade for Russell Westbrook. So, I mean, like I said, whatever. You know, MJ is going to do MJ things. If he wants Russell Westbrook, the GM's going to trade for Russell Westbrook. But those are the only teams who seem interested, but we can talk about some teams who could potentially trade for him. Actually, I forgot about the Clippers. Apparently, they're interested, but that's a terrible idea. And honestly, I don't even really want to talk about it. It makes absolutely no sense. But there's this Magic team who have been looking for a point guard forever. Maybe they trade Vucevic, but I highly doubt it. Other than that, they have Aaron Gordon, maybe Terrence Ross, Al-Farouq Aminu. Maybe if the Magic just aren't sold on Bamba anymore, they include him in some sort of trade. I mean, that in itself is probably better than what anyone else is offering, if you still believe in Bamba, which I do. Maybe Detroit jumps in there, although I'm not really sure why they would want to do that. Apparently Chicago is rumored to be interested. I mean, power to them, but it sounds like a terrible idea. Is it possible that Phoenix misses out on Chris Paul and goes for Westbrook? I mean, it's certainly possible. but it sounds like going backwards for the Suns, even if Russ is a better player overall than Rubio. Other than that, I'm not really sure who could even really want Westbrook, if we're being honest. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. I think we'll just have to see what happens in the coming days. The free agency and the draft, it's going to be hectic. And who knows where Russell Westbrook is going to go. He might end up on the Clippers. Who knows? But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I will be releasing something regarding the next gen My GM later today, maybe, probably. It's just going to be like a minute long talking about it. But anyway, if you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. And y'all have a good one.